How's it going, mates? This is Mrjacharles, and we're here with a Let's Talk. Now, my hair is a complete mess. I just recently washed it. It's what, 4 o'clock now? I washed my hair like 10 minutes ago. I tried combing it too, but now my hair doesn't want to work with me. It just wants to get in the way and make me look really weird compared to how I normally look. Or do I always look like this? I don't know. I just feel like I look weirder because my fringe is longer. I know, I do need a haircut. But anyway, as a gamer, I've been releasing videos twice a day in terms of gaming, and then I've got a Sunday Let's Talk. But I have not been doing much in terms of the writing section. So I thought, why don't I make a writer's workshop? I will show you guys how to write a short story. It's going to be very short. We have 3 paragraphs, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's going to be fabulous. Now, to start a story, we must start with a memorable line. Once upon a time is good, but you know, those days are gone now. We don't live in the medieval times. We are not killing people with swords. So why don't we go advanced with, in the dystopian future? Yes, this will attract the readers. Now, there are many ways you could go from here. You could talk about how the landscape looks. We could say that it looks terrible, or it could be amazing. Maybe the dystopian future isn't so dystopian. However, I would like to introduce our character. Now, we must have a very unique character. A character everyone would remember. A character that when you wake up and you think of the first thing you watched last night, you think of this character. There lived a cyborg fish named Greg. Now you see, because I made this character so unique, you will now remember a cyborg fish named Greg. Greg, however, needs a personality. We must describe him to our readers. Is he a nice guy? Is he a mean guy? Does he take drugs? Probably. He was 1,000 feet tall and had a very, very hairy chest. Yes. Now we must tell readers what kind of character our cyborg fish named Greg is. He smiled very often and worked in a pizza delivery shop. Yes. As you can see, there are so many directions our cyborg fish named Greg could go. He could get promoted and become a manager of this pizza delivery shop. I mean, he could also, take over the world because he's 1,000 feet tall and has a very, very hairy chest. I mean, that hairy chest, a lot of people would vote for a president with a very hairy chest. But, as you can see, we have done our first paragraph, the beginning. And now we must move on to the middle. So, in our introduction, we introduce the character. But we must give our character a problem, a dilemma he must solve. So, one day in the pizza shop, a very angry rhino named Ross complained. Again, as a writer, you can go many directions about this. You could describe what kind of rhino Ross was. I mean, we could say angry, as we already have, but we could also say he was a green rhino. Maybe there's something wrong with him. But since I want this to be quite a straightforward story, I will describe what our very angry rhino named Ross is complaining about. He did not like the fact that his pizza was too radioactive. Radioactive? Radioactive. You must also know how to spell, else you will get killed by the grammar Nazis. They are a very lethal species. Oftentimes our main character must face emotional conflict when he meets this dilemma. How does our character feel? Because he is not stone-hearted. Our cyborg fish named Greg has feelings, and we must embrace them as a writer. Greg was shocked by this, and felt an urge to take action. Okay, so we have introduced our character. We have the dilemma, and now at the end, we must come up with a conclusion. So first off, we must solve the issue. Since Greg was a trained master physicist, he magically made the radiation get bent. Yes. I mean, obviously, some writers might think, well, this isn't appropriate, this isn't good. I mean, you're just saying get bent, why not just say the proper thing and say go away? But the thing is, in your stories, you must also relate to children. Relate to the hip kids. And the hip kids do not say go away, the hip kids say get bent. Either that, or I really don't know how schools work these days. Now to conclude this, how does our antagonist, the angry rhino, feel? Ross was satisfied with this customer service. Customer service? Sure. And then left wholehearted eating his pizza. And now to end all this, we must say how satisfied our cyborg fish named Greg is. Greg was totally confused why this whole event had occurred when none of it made sense. The end. Well, that has to be the weirdest thing I've ever done on my channel. That's not how you do get a book out there. I mean, you've got to first find an agent, then you've got to find a publisher, and then they're all going to complain because they need editing and book cover. So, as much as I would love Greg the Cyborg Fish to get somewhere, YouTube is probably the best place for my cyborg fish. I've got to be honest though, I'm kind of worried when my book finally does get in a store or something, people are going to buy it expecting Greg the Cyborg Fish to make a comeback. I'd be very surprised if he did. Again, this was an entire joke, and I promise you, I am a writer. I've been doing it 11 years. I am better than this, if I give it my all. But anyway, I'm sure you enjoyed the Cyborg Fish. But now it is time for Game of the Week. So we have this week, Omega Zodiac, the game where it had impressive graphics, impressive artwork, but seemed to lack a few good controls. Now we did have a single Let's Play of Trade of Stories, but because it was a multiple Let's Play first, I don't want to include it in this list. So it is still a great game. Rodowski brothers, give yourselves a pat on the shoulder. But I just don't want to include a game that I've already done multiple times in a Game of the Week playlist. We have Monster Looter, where I made the most annoying voice for a parrot, but it was actually pretty decent in the game mechanics and the graphics department. Symbiosis, where for some reason some crystals invaded and they're apparently aliens. And we had to defend the planet with some plants. Not high-tech nuclear missiles, but plants. Takeover, the tower conquest game. I mean, you could count it as a tower defense game, but I wouldn't call it that because we were taking over towers as well as defending our own place. And I am an insane rogue AI. Obviously, I am not an insane rogue AI, but it was a game about an AI that took over some facilities and made the whole world panic. Yeah, it was a great game. So, considering there's only 5, which one is 5th and which one is 1st? Well, the last game, unfortunately, is Omega Zodiac. The problem with it was it did have amazing looks for cutscenes, the enemies were pretty good, I liked what they did with Ares a lot. The fact is, all you had to do was click a button, and the game would play itself. Now, that'd be good for a movie, maybe, if you just clicked it once and the movie played. But in the gaming world, you need something a little more detailed in terms of game mechanics. So, Omega Zodiac, you did look amazing, but unfortunately, you were 5th. Number 4 is Symbiosis. Found the gameplay to be repetitive and simplistic, but it was quite enjoyable for the first few minutes. And there is a challenge to it, but I just feel like there could have been more put into it, like more plants or more aliens or something like that. Number 3 was Takeover. Now, I did admire that game because it wasn't just a simple tower defense game, it expanded on what a tower defense game is. But I'm kind of annoyed that they still did tower defense because it's been done so many times, so I couldn't rank this one too highly. Number 2, the second game, which will also determine what number 1 is Monster Looter. Now granted, I made this game look terrible because I thought, hey, I know, why don't I give this parrot a really annoying voice so no one will play it? That's a good idea. But admittedly, the gameplay mechanics were amazing, I liked the fight style. I am a fan of turn-based stuff, but there was a lot to it, there's a lot you could equip, you could choose various characters, there was a fair amount of gameplay. I didn't get too much into the difficult side of things, but I imagine a game like that could get more difficult. So Monster Looter is number 2, which means number 1 is I Am an Insane Rogue AI, which was brilliant because it was more unique than the average thing you'd find on Congregate or Miniclip. I liked how the Rogue AI did have a personality, even if it was a murderous one that was trying to take over facilities and kill people. But I admire that game mostly because it was unique and something different from what I normally saw on Congregate, and I found it completely by accident. So Game of the Week is I Am an Insane Rogue AI. Not me, obviously, but the game. So I'll sub-count. We have, at the moment, 180 subscribers, which is brilliant, guys. You guys seriously rock. I can't believe we're nearing 200 as well. I mean, just felt like yesterday I was starting this channel. I mean, I think it's been like 5 months now. It feels like 5, 7... I don't know. It's a certain amount of months which I can't count despite being an accountant. But you know what, 180, all of you, thank you so much for sticking with me. I know I've still got a lot to learn, but it means so much you guys are still here for me. Without further ado, I hope you guys have a brilliant week. Look out for my books, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, see ya!